Welcome back to the Four Drive Podcast powered by Tyrepower in the Back Chat Studios, built by Grounded, Ronnie. Different setup today though, mate. We've changed rooms.
It is very different.
For a very special occasion. Obviously Tyrepower, I should mention, Australian-owned, independently operated, multi-branded. If you're in the market, rims, tyres, even batteries.
62 stores now.
Well done. Well done. You have read the run sheet. There's a little note at the bottom of this run sheet today saying, Ronnie read the run sheet. with a gobsmacked face. Let's not make him wait any longer. We've got a very special guest in the studio with us today. That is why we're sitting in here in a more interview style. But we've got Jake Rotham from the Tall Tails Rodcast. Mate, thanks for joining us. How are you, brother?
Thanks for having me, lads. This is an honour. What an intro.
Mate, that's I told you before this, I'm a bit nervous when we get guests on because normally we just come in here. Ronnie hasn't read the run sheet. It's just off we go and we talk a bit of shit. But I wanted to prepare for this session today. We're going to talk a lot of shit today, but we wanted to prepare for this because, mate, let's just start off. The Tall Tails podcast, or the Rodcast, which is just fucking awesome.
Credit to Sammy Smith from the Beefs, who is actually the lead singer of our theme song.
Yes, right.
He come up with that one.
Did he really?
Yeah, he's got a sharp tongue, Sammy.
Did Cal come up with our name, Jaden? Southern River Band, Let It Ride?
No. I know Cal. He's a character.
Mate, Cal's a rock star.
Yeah, so Sammy's kind of the same.
Yeah, right.
He actually looks like a rock star too.
Yeah, he does. That is a great track though. That is it the Beefs?
Yeah, Red Belly Black Snake.
Yes, that's a good tune.
So I hit him up and I said, I'm doing a podcast, Tall Tails podcast. He goes, the Rodcast. I was like, that is perfect. And as soon as I told Lecker, he cracked up laughing. He goes, mate, that's a golden nugget.
It works well.
We're running with that.
Well.
So.
I just want to say before we get into it, Jake, thanks for getting us upgraded.
Yeah,
the only reason why we're in here.
We're in the big studio.
Might have to make it a regular thing.
Yes,
in the
every
Four
week.
Drive pod.
Mate, I know you start, so I'm going to steal something. You start your podcast each week with your guest. Now, we'll get into your podcast in a little bit, but you start each podcast with the last fish that you caught. You ask the guest, what's the last fish that you caught? And I'm just going to take it, because you're the fishing guy here.
Yeah.
What is the last fish that you caught?
A frigate mackerel, actually.
A frigate?
Yeah, so first frigate mackerel for me. I went out the other day with Goatman.
Yeah,
Pete Riley, good mate of mine, former guest on the podcast. He's actually a regular guest. He's one of the only guys we've had on.
Funny dude.
More than
he's
once.
that guy that walked up Rotto with the
kingfish over his
shoulder.
Had a beer off the wood.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, he's a character. But anyway, the goat boat's off the water at the moment, so I took him out in the tinny and we managed to find like droves of frigate mackerel along the 3 Mile Reef, which is straight out from Hillary's. And, mate, they were feeding on bait that was about that big, so we were struggling to get them to eat, and we downgraded to what you call a micro jig, which is a small metal, sort of imitates the size of the bait that they were eating at the time. And, mate, we just had hours of fun chasing these little frigate mackerel. They're about that big. They look like a bonito.
Right.
But, yeah, on the light gear that you use for brim or smaller fish in the Swan River.
They look like a what?
A bonito.
What's
you
a
seen
bonito?
them before?
You better find out.
It's another pelagic fish, like a small tuna.
Okay. You better find out how little I know about
That's all right, mate. I learnt a lot off you, Ronnie, in the early days for four-wheel drive. And
there's going to be a nice connection between the four-wheel drive world and the fishing world today, I think. And Jake's a perfect person because he has mentioned to me before that as you are very educational with your videos, Jake has learnt
a lot off you
from that too, which has been a bit of a vessel to his hobby, obviously now.
Yeah.
I think I got a lot more to learn from you than you have learned from me.
We'll head out together.
That is one thing I've been at, because I'm an avid listener of your podcast, mate, and I think one thing that I didn't realise is the detail that goes into. I'm not going to say every fisherman is like you or Lek or some of your guests that you get on, but the detail in fishing, like. And your attention to detail in particular, like you're a real, I don't want to say you're a nuffy, but you're a bit of a nuffy on like the fine.
I'm a nerd.
Yeah, you're a nerd. Yeah, great way to put it.
Yeah, that's something I nerd out on.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool to see because I've got half the time no idea what you're talking about. You explain it really well, but like just, the finer details of what you go into on that podcast is massive.
Well, that's the biggest challenge, like talking from a podcaster's perspective, is actually being mindful of your listeners and they might not know as much as I know. So it's actually breaking it down.
You explain it well though.
Yeah, I heard something recently. I'm not sure where I heard it, but the best way for you to do educational content is actually talk to an adult as if you're trying to teach a 5-year-old.
Yeah,
it's the easiest way to do it. But that is really hard with fishing. It's one of those things that is so technical, and you can be as sort of dumbed down as you want, or you can get as technical as you want.
Yep.
And Lek and I are very different in that regard too. Like Lek, half the time I look over at him and he's just scoffing at me going, oh my God, mate. Like, just get on with it.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm there making sure my knots are perfect. I'd like 5 pound, you know, a 20 pound leader and a 25 pound leader can make a difference on whether or not you catch fish. Whereas he just gets in and gets after it. And you know what, to be fair, he probably catches more quantity of fish than me. Because he's got wet hooks all the time. He's got a bait in the water more than I do because I'm messing around trying to get everything perfect. But I think it's the ADHD coming out in me. It's just
well, everyone's got their thing, mate.
But yeah, it is one of those things that's super technical.
Yeah, there's so much out there. But so strip it back, mate. Where did the passion for not only fishing but 4-wheel driving start? And like you're a bit of an outdoorsy sort of lover. I know photography was a part of your makeup
still is.
Growing up, still is. So take us back. I know a little bit about the story because I've listened to you guys chat on air, but for our listeners, where did it all start for you? Fishing, photography, 4-wheel driving, what come first? How did it all sort of come about?
So Dougie, you obviously know my family. My brother played. So we should probably mention that. My brother played footy.
Yeah, very
that's
good
how
mates
we
with
know
your
each
brother.
other.
Yeah.
So I got two younger brothers, Sam and Josh, and my dad he's been a lifelong surfer. So we always grew up down the beach. Trig Point was our local. We spent so much time down there. So the ocean's always been sort of my happy place, I guess. To go back to it all the time. And we were very much surfers growing up through my teen years and into my early 20s. And fishing was sort of like something that we just did on holidays. So we had a yearly holiday in January where we would go to Moore River, Gilderton, an hour north of Perth. And the only thing that I wanted to do when we went there was go fishing. That was like all the time. You just find me fishing. If mum and dad couldn't find me around the campsite, it was like I'd be down at the river. They knew I was there. So, but what kind of got me into fishing was my granddad. So Dave Maxted, rest in peace, great man. He was, when he moved over from England in the 60s, he moved into a house in Sorrento and his next door neighbour ended up being a guy named George Holman. So anybody that has been around the club fishing days of sort of, you know, from the 60s all the way up to the 90s will know who George is. He is really well known for his casting abilities. There was like dry casting competitions back then where they would basically go down the park, put a sinker on the end of their rod and have a competition to see who could cast the furthest.
Wow.
So
what is the record, do you know?
I'm not sure, but George had a cast on him that was in the mid 200s. So
200
meters.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. So it's full competitive sport. It's big in England and big in South Africa. You watch the way, like how seriously they take it.
Wow.
And it's, again, very technical. So they take their reels apart, replace the bearings, their rods are different materials. There's like full technique. And some of these guys cast a mile, but George was one of them.
Right.
So he got my granddad into fishing and they ended up joining the fishing club together and travelling all up and down the coast from Shark Bay down to Esperance, Bluff Creek, places like that. So I spent a lot of time with my grandparents growing up and I always saw photos and granddad had all the Fishing in the Wild West books and, you know, I'd go into his shed and there'd be fishing equipment everywhere, just reels and rods and lures that he'd win in competitions and stuff like that. And that to me was like, I still remember the smell. It's funny what you remember from those times, but I remember what that shed smelt like for me and I was always really fascinated by it. And
that's the key to those memories, I reckon. I get that a bit as well, like a smell or a
if
song.
you smell something and you're like, that reminds me of this.
Takes you back to that time.
So it was kind of like that and he put a lot of time into me, my granddad, fishing magazines and that sort of stuff. But
was all this fishing land-based or
it was. So never a boat fisherman. He couldn't afford a boat.
Yeah, right.
So he was
that?
Basically going down the end of Clontarf Street in Sorrento there and fishing before the Hillary's Marina was built too. So he has stories of sort of what that area was like before the marina went in, which is vastly different.
Imagine that coastline without that marina there. Like,
oh, well, I can tell you all about it. I've got the stories. So
Less diesel.
He's So it was actually a really good mulloway fishery back in the day. Right. So from there all the way up to Pinaroo Point, there was a deep gutter that had mulloway go through there, and you.
That's Jake's. That's Jake's like.
Yeah, that's my
pride
passion.
and joy. Mulloway fishing.
But Granddad would set me up every year to go to Moore River with a little tackle box.
Oh, so, sick.
He always had lures in there and stuff, but funny thing is, he never actually taught me how to fish. So the one that actually taught me how to fish, he set me up to go fishing with all the gear, but the one that taught me how to fish was my Uncle Neil, he was more than an uncle to me. He was actually a real father figure, and he took me under his wing, and any chance that we got in the weekend, we'd go down to Floreat Drain and catch Taylor, and that's sort of where it really kicked off. So it started in Moore River just catching bream, and then moved into Taylor off the beach, and then when I eventually got my licence, that was when it really kicked off fishing. So, always go back to the outdoors, and to answer your question, short answer is it's just my happy place, really. So I guess four-wheel driving comes part and parcel now with fishing as well. I was saying to Jaden when we got in here, it's more of a tool for me than it is, I'd say, a hobby. Like, you wouldn't find me going out four-wheel driving the power lines track or doing some of the crazy stuff that Ronnie does, but I love it when I do get to do it.
Yeah.
So.
And so that, maybe touching on the four-wheel drive stuff a little bit more, like one, what are you driving? And two, is like camping a part of this as well, or is it day
100%.
trips? Camping's a big part of it.
So, a big part of it.
So what are you in, and what's your camping setup when you go?
So very simple. I'd love to say that I've got a 79 series with a canopy, and that's my dream car for sure. But I've just got a 90 series Prado 2000s petrol 3.4 litre V6, and mate, I cannot fault that car. It is a weapon.
Is it red?
Good. No, it's a silver one. So,
okay, that's going to second guess.
Yeah, I've got a 2-inch lift in it. Here's where it comes back to Ronnie's YouTube channel. You did a video back in the day of a National Lunar battery box in the back of your Hilux when you first got it. Do you remember that? You were talking about how good a battery box is for portability, and you can take it into your next car. I took that and I copied it. I just went straight there and I bought that battery box. So I've got a National Lunar battery box in the back with a little iTech 120X lithium battery in it, and that powers National Lunar fridge. Got a draw system in the back, and that thing gets up and goes. So I've got a little bit bigger tyres on it now too, so just got a little bit more clearance on the beach.
You swag?
Swag for sure, yeah. So I'm one of those guys that likes to buy it right, buy once, or buy quality gear, and then I don't really have to worry about repairing it or anything. So I've got 2 ARB Skydome swags. I've got the double and the single.
Nice.
So depending on if I'm going away with my chick or by myself, I'll take the double if I'm with her. Or
so that speaks a lot about your battery system then.
Yeah.
You only want to buy once, right?
Yeah.
So for people who are listening, like battery box, you did it yourself. Mm-hmm. It's so much cheaper than to get in a full battery
well then
system.
if you sell your car, like I'm actually due for an upgrade now. That car's done 320,000 Ks. I reckon I'll probably get it up to 400. But, having to sell your car, it's good because I can take the battery box out of it. And what happens when you sell your car? You never get your asking price. Someone comes in and barters you. I go, yeah, cool, you don't pay the asking price. I'll start taking stuff off it. First thing that will come out of that car will be the battery box. And you know what? It'll probably come out before I even advertise it, because it's just so easy to have.
That's your thing.
Yeah.
So what are you looking at next?
79 with the company, mate. Turns out I know a guy.
I'd love to get a 79. That is my dream car, especially seeing yours dug out at the four-wheel drive show this year. And I've looked at yours pretty much every four-wheel drive show for the last 5 years, Ronnie, and just been like, damn, that's what I really want. But I really don't know. I'm not in a position where I can actually go and afford a 79 series, and to do what I'd want to do to it is you're pretty much doubling your outlay on it, right? Do it slowly, but it's just simply out of reach for me at the moment. So I think a ute with a tray back canopy setup would be probably something like that. D-Max has always got my attention just for the reliability. I'll actually probably lean on you guys a little bit, I reckon, when it comes time.
Well, just know that it doesn't matter if you buy the 79 series with all the stuff on it, you're going to have just as good a time as you would in your 90.
Yeah, exactly. That 90,
it doesn't change.
Oh, God, the old girl, she's looked after me for sure.
Yeah.
She's never let me down. I'm pretty meticulous with the maintenance on it too, like I'm always making sure that I'm doing the right thing. So if I do go on a remote trip, I don't really do remote trips. I feel like a bit embarrassed saying remote trips when I'm in here with you guys seeing what you do. But
Mate.
you got a big shopping trolley pretty much, don't you?
100%.
But, somewhere like Nalu, I love going to Nalu, pretty much go there every year. If I don't maintain, a typical issue with all 90 series Prados is the lower ball joints.
Yeah, righto.
They've been known to give way after a certain amount of time. So I'll always make sure that my ball joints are good. This is just one example, because I'm going along corrugations and stuff like that. If a ball joint goes, I'm probably going to die going 80, 90 Ks an hour along a bloody dirt road like that. But B, to get out of there is a bit of a pain in the ass, and it's going to hit your wallet pretty hard trying to get recovered out there. Yep. So it looks after me really well, that car.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome. What's your? Always wondered about this when fishos have like so you're in a wagon setup, right, in the Prado, but if you're taking anything home, have you got a massive big esky somewhere in the back there, or are you
as in fish?
Yeah. Or are you just catching, cooking?
So back to we eat a lot of fish while we're up there. Yeah. And I'm not the type of guy that goes on a fishing trip to bring
fillets. 10 home. And,
it's
gotcha.
not. It's by all means, it's great to bring home fillets and share it with your family. I love doing that. But we do eat a lot of fish when we're up there. Okay. It takes 2 big mackerel up there to come home with a big freezer full of fish. But usually I'm with a couple of mates, and all we do is we fillet them up, cryovac them, and we put them in a big pile, and we pull straws, and the first one gets to pick. So we go through. So if it was us 3, I'd pick, you'd pick, Ronnie pick, I'd pick, you'd pick.
Yeah,
so
okay.
You can pick. We cut them up into portion sizes, and then it all ends up. We all end up with an equal amount of fish. But I usually will take.
Mind that.
It's a good way of doing it.
I can't catch anything, so that means that I've actually got a chance to bring it back.
Well, that's how it should be. If you're the guy on the fishing trip that basically goes, I caught all the fish, I should take the most home. You're not going to get another invite back on a fishing trip. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, good point.
But I have my National Luna fridge in the back. It's only a 52 litre.
Yeah.
But I also take. Granddad's got this. He left me and my brothers and my cousin actually this esky that's kind of a communal family esky.
Yeah.
Big fiberglass thing that's filled with insulation, and I get block ice. So I've got a chest freezer at home.
Yep.
I just fill up ice cream containers full of block ice, and that'll last us 2 weeks up there. Shit. So we'll put a bunch of fillets in there, and then once the camp fridge starts getting a bit of, got a bit of room in there, I'll fill it up with fillets and freeze them.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Thermal mass.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah. One thing, photography quickly, that passion and where that has taken you, and then I want to get into a couple of things about getting some of our listeners started in fishing. So because photography is a big piece of your makeup. So talk to us about that.
Yeah. So my cousin Mike was pretty much my older brother.
Yeah. That's how I think we all look at Mike. Like when
we
hang out with you boys.
He's the older brother of the whole community, pretty much. But so Mike was a very talented photographer. I always looked up to him, put him on a pedestal big time, and he always had a camera. Growing up, I always remember he had a camera. And when I got old enough to realise what he actually shot, he was really sort of instrumental in the West Australian bodyboarding scene, all things. So I don't know if you guys have heard of the tension bodyboard movies.
Yeah.
So Mike was a big part of that crew. So Chris White's a good friend of mine and Mike's, and Mike travelled around with all those guys shooting photos. And
went to school with Chris White.
Did ya? Where was at Padbury High?
Padbury High.
No way. Yeah. That's born and bred Padbury. So sick. No, I grew up across the road from Padbury High.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So all those guys like Matt Purnell and they were all big part of me growing up. Looked up to those guys a lot. And
the original Jackass.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So tension bodyboard movies is what we're talking about. I'm sure some of your listeners would have watched them before, but
definitely have to be a little bit of age though.
Yeah. He just brought out Tension 11 actually.
I heard he was.
And it was epic too. Yeah, it's worth watching. I was fishing with Whitey quite a bit a couple of years ago before he started filming it. But anyway, I've always kind of had that creative part of me. Again, I touched on my ADHD before. Like there's creativity is a part of that. It's a bit of an escape, quiets your mind. It's just a really therapeutic thing for me. And before I was really into fishing as much as I am, skateboarding and surfing were my main two things that I like to do. And I was never that talented at either of those things. I wasn't bad at them, but my friends were always so much better. So some of my friends are actually professional skateboarders. We grew up with, guys like Jack Robinson. He was a Trig local boy before he moved down south, and they kind of took it to a level well surpassing myself and my brothers, and it just became a natural thing that I looked up to Mike. He was a photographer. He got me into it, actually gave me my first camera. And then I had these awesome subjects to shoot. So I'm not the type of guy that's going out shooting photos of birds and flowers and that sort of thing. It's like I like high impact, high action stuff, and being able to capture that on camera is always, it's a challenge, but I really enjoyed it as well. But then the other side of the photography is I love jumping in the water and shooting photos of, waves artistically and that sort of thing. And probably the biggest part of my photography that I enjoy the most is people. I get to point my camera at people and take portraits and document what I'm doing. It's always been, photography isn't really the hobby. It's like I use my camera to document my hobbies, if that makes sense. So that's now
just tell a story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's not about an individual photo. It's about documenting a trip or something like that. And now I guess that's sort of rolled out into Tall Tails podcast as well. On my way around a camera.
Take us back to your photos of waves.
Yeah.
Underwater?
Yeah, so with the housing and that sort of thing. Probably not so much underwater, but in the water where your camera's going to be getting wet. Yeah. So
what camera are you shooting with?
I'm a Sony guy now, but Mike was always a Nikon.
We might have lost the boys here now.
Nikon shooter.
Start talking about stuff.
You're quite into it?
Yeah. Well, photography was one of the things that got me into.
That was the birthplace of your sort of drive channel, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was a Nikon guy for a long time, but Sony these days is what.
Nikon, that's okay. Yeah, Canon.
Sony over
it just works the opposite way.
So this is what we're talking about here. So you got Nikon, Canon, and now Sony. You've got Toyota and Nissan, and you've got Shimano and Daiwa. It's like the cult following.
Yeah.
So.
All right, mate, we've got a thing called Tough Dog Tip of the Week. We do with our show every week, and normally it's Ronnie giving us a tip on whatever he might have.
Do not ask me to give a tip about fishing.
No, and
actually, my tip is talk the joke.
Yeah, well, there's one.
Listen to the Tall Tails podcast.
Listen to the Rodcast.
Listen to the Rodcast. Mate, we want to flick to you for a Tough Dog Tip of the Week, right? So, a fishing tip, if you could, based around how to get into it, because I reckon I'm one of them.
Yep.
Basically, I'm asking for myself in a way.
Buy a fishing rod?
Yeah, well, I've got it.
It's a good start.
I've got it, but I don't like.
You don't even need a rod. You can go a hand line.
Yeah.
It's easier.
Actually, that reminds me of something I want to talk about later too. But no, something for getting into fishing. I mean, we have a heap of listeners on here. There's so many four-wheel drives. It's getting more and more popular in Australia at the moment. How do we get into fishing if we're not into it? What's a little tip there just to get started? It can be as simple as you like.
Well, what I will say is it's never been easier to get into fishing with the amount of resources that are out there with YouTube, fishing media, Tall Tails podcast. Like it's so easy to get that information. But the biggest thing for me, and probably I was lucky because I had my granddad and my uncle and was friends with guys like Lecker and that sort of thing that I could lean on to kind of get little bits of information there. I'll just start by saying I'm not the best fisherman. I consistently approach fishing and also the podcast from a frame of mind where I want to learn.
Yep.
You're always learning, and anyone that says that they've got fishing dialed in and worked out completely is just straight up lying to you. So you'll never have it worked out completely, but I think the single biggest factor that really sort of saw my progression of fishing shoot up quite quickly was shopping at a local independent tackle store.
Yeah.
I think if you need your information and you go and support these stores, the guys that are working in there, take Complete Angler in Nedlands or Getaway Outdoors in Balcatta, for example, two stores that I shop at a lot. The guys in there, between all of them, the information that they have and they're willing to share is invaluable. You can't put a price on it. You're not walking into nothing wrong with a BCF or Anaconda. They serve their purpose brilliantly and they're great stores, but I find that the experience that you get in these independent tackle stores is usually tenfold better.
Yep.
So you can go in there and you say, okay, I want a fishing rod for this purpose. This is where I'm going, and they'll give you the right gear. That's probably the single biggest one, mate.
Yeah.
And also the other thing is simply just putting in the time. It's not something that is easy, and you're not going to go down the beach every time and catch fish. I still have donut sessions. Putting in the time and just trying to figure out, okay, I might not have caught a fish that time, but what didn't work? Not so much what did work. It's like what didn't work. So it's a process of elimination. So.
It's much similar to full driving, isn't it? It's just take.
Yeah.
You fail until you don't.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the penny drops.
One bites.
So sometimes where methods don't work is just because you're fishing at the wrong time of the day.
Yep, for sure. So there's conditions, there's wrong time of day, you might go fishing straight after a storm and you just
Moon phase.
Yeah, moon phase is a big one.
That's what I've learned on the broadcast.
So there's a little bit more intricacy to the moon phases and stuff like that, and that's where it starts to get really complicated. But you might go down the beach, Ronnie, and you get weed all over your line. It's just impossible to keep a bait in the water. You might go and get snagged because the tide's too low. It's simple things like that you start to learn. And when you look at the swell, the wind, moon phase, what the tide was doing, it's that process of elimination that I was talking about, where you can sort of phase out, or not phase out, but sort of eliminate things that, or conditions that you wouldn't go fishing in. Does that make sense? So I actually keep a catch journal too. So I use an app called Fishing Points. I take a photo. In the back of your photo, you got this thing called metadata. So every photo you take on your phone, it lists the time, the date, and if you got location settings on, it tells you where it was taken. This particular app, I don't turn location settings on because if I send somebody a photo, I don't want them to see of a fish. I don't want them to see where it was taken. But you can go to your nearest tide station and it'll tell you what the tide was doing, what the moon was doing on that date, the air pressure, the swell, the wind. So then I get this data. So I've caught quite a few mulloway in the river, right? There's a clear pattern there with conditions on when I've got the bites. And usually it's when the tide slows down and moon rise and moon set seems to be a consistent pattern. So by uploading a photo to that app, it automatically drops all that data in. And now I've got 30 fish that I can look back at. So it's almost science. You're doing science with your fishing. I've got 30 captures that I can look back on and go, there's the consistent pattern. I'm going to concentrate my time and effort around these conditions. So
that's pretty cool.
Pretty technical.
Yeah,
but
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's another thing. So try and at least keep a catch journal. Like my granddad had a journal of all his captures and where he was, what time of year.
Handwritten.
Yeah, all handwritten.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I've got a deeper question about what you just said there, but I think I'll leave it till after because it's, I'll probably take people down a rabbit hole.
Well, speaking of a rabbit hole, I want to go there now, and I don't want it to become a massive rabbit hole. But
I think I know what you're going to ask.
Yeah, and I think it's
big topic.
This is mainly, mate, not to cover us. We didn't pretend that we knew what was going on, but we touched on it a week or two ago on the demersal fishing ban.
Yeah, you did a good job, by the way.
Thank you. We were only informed on your podcast, so hopefully I portrayed that in a way that was made sense and aligned with what you boys are thinking. But can you explain that demersal ban to us as if you were just telling us to? Because we're a little bit confused about it, and we think it is so extreme.
I don't know anything about it actually.
Yeah. So anyway, take it away if you will.
Yeah. So basically, what's happened for anyone that didn't listen to that episode is we have a demersal category of fish over here, everywhere in the world actually. So what they are is a bottom-dwelling fish. We have, I think it's over 200 species of demersal fish in Western Australia. And basically what they are deep water fish. They do come up in shallow water at times. You can catch them in pretty shallow water, like I've caught them in 4 meters of water before. But they are hammered. They get absolutely smashed over here, and they're slow-growing fish. They taste great. They're usually in colder water down here. Up north you get them, red emperor in warmer water and stuff like that. But they are the premium table fish, pretty much. Yep. All demersals taste great because they live in those sorts of depths, and they're slow growing and they eat other fish. They're predatory fish.
Yep.
God, it is such a deep-rooted issue, and it's not an issue, it's a topic of conversation, but they are a very popular recreational and commercial target, being that they taste so great. Everybody wants to go out and catch them both commercially and recreationally. They're great table fish for restaurants and stuff like that. But I guess the mascot of the demersal fish over in Western Australia is an endemic fish, which means they're only found in Western Australia, and that's the West Australian jewfish. So your East Coast listeners may get confused with mulloway because they call them the jewfish, so J-E-W fish. Over east, but over here we kind of refer to their jewfish as a mulloway.
Yep.
Over here we have our jewfish, which is a DHU fish. They get absolutely smashed. There's no denying it. Any fisherman's Instagram page, Facebook, whatever, you're probably going to see a jewfish on there, and some guys exclusively target them. They don't target anything else. Pretty much what's happened is 4 years ago we had, and even I think it was about 10 years ago prior to that, we had some changes in the fishing rules. So it's not a free-for-all. You can't just go out there and take what you want and that's it. We do have bag limits that we have to follow, and there's seasons that we can't catch certain fish. But basically what's happened is that the stock has slowly declined, and it's at a point where there needs to be something done to ensure that these fish aren't pretty much extinct, or they get to a level where there's literally not enough fish in the biomass. So when we say biomass, it basically means that the whole population of the fish. It doesn't get to a point where there's not enough fish in the system to have a successful spawning event. So that's where it's got to with the snapper in South Australia, where they close the fishery too late. So it's got to a point where there's not enough fish in the population to actually every year have a successful spawning event and repopulate the population pretty much. So long story short, lads, there needs to be an equilibrium of there's more fish spawning and being created naturally out there through these spawning events than what we are taking out of the ocean. And both rec fishing, I'm going to cop some flack for this. I'm going to cop some hate. People get really passionate about it, but rec fishers and commercial fishers are taking more fish out of the ocean that are being reproduced by the bigger fish that are out there. So a lot of people say it's a numbers thing. It's actually not. If you read into the science, and that's the problem, and this is why it's so controversial, is because people just listen to their mate and they repeat what their mate said. It's
take it as gospel.
Yes, and it's not.
Is all this stuff available for people to actually go look at? So say like skeptics or whatever can actually go and...
Yeah, so the science is available, and their immediate argument straight away is, the science is flawed. It's actually not flawed. There's a scale on sort of how can I put this in layman's terms? It's how good the science is. So scientists all come together, and basically you can compare how good your scientific testing is. So for fisheries in Australia, there is a scale, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. Okay. The West Australian method for testing our fisheries over here, and the way that they've gone about the demersal stock assessment, is rated a 5. It's the best of the best that we have in Australia. So you can't really say that the science is flawed. We're definitely not the leaders. I spoke to a good mate of mine that works in fisheries. He's super clued up recently, and I asked him, is there anywhere else in the world that's doing it better than us? America do it with their red snapper fishery over there, and they don't really have government entities and ministers and that sort of thing that control fisheries. So over here we have a fisheries minister. She's the decision maker. Fisheries as a department over in America make all the decisions. And it comes down to similar to hunting, where they have tags and they have live catch reporting. So if you shoot a deer over there, you have to put a tag on its antlers and you have to report that. We don't have that with our demersal fish over here. I'll move on to that in a second. But over there, if you catch a red snapper, you have to report it. So the government or fisheries management over there, the game wardens, get live updating on how many fish are being caught. They can close it overnight. They have the power to close that fishery overnight, and no one says anything because it's what's best for the fish. That's pretty much in a roundabout way, I think, personally, what is happening over here. It is best for the fish.
Yep.
I support a closure of both jewfish. Initially, I didn't really support the snapper closure because I felt like there was a lot of snapper getting around. But when you look a little bit deeper into it, the size of those snapper directly correlates with the age, and they're slow-growing older fish. The age groups of these snapper that we're seeing, these populations of, they're still quite young. We need these big fish, both for snapper and jewfish. They're so valuable to the overarching population of the fish. We need the old fish in there. And what we're finding is that, well, not we're finding, but what the science is finding is there's not a lot of older fish in the system. So I read something the other day that I think it was back in the 80s, during a stock assessment of captures, they basically get the ear bones of the fish, they cut them in half, and they look at how old the fish is. But it's like a tree, you know, when you cut a jar tree, you've got the rings. Similar thing with a fish. You see the otoliths, you see the rings, and that's how old they are. The oldest fish jewfish they found was about 40 years old. They haven't found one over 25 years old in a very, very, very long time.
Right, okay.
Wow. Okay.
So that a 40-year-old fish compared to even a 20-year-old fish, which is still pretty old fish, the value of that fish in terms of how much they're contributing to a successful spawning event through the sheer amount of eggs that they produce is tenfold. It's so much more valuable. So we can say there's lots of fish around, but if they're all young, it's still not enough to replenish the fish stock and basically have that healthy equilibrium where it's not only we're taking 100, let's say we're taking 10,000 fish and 10,000 fish are breeding, coming back in the system. It doesn't really work that way. We need it to be, I think, jewfish is at 7% of the biomass that it once was.
Ooh.
So that's pretty scary. We need it to be that these fish are reproducing at a rate 4 times the amount of what we're actually taking.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So 2 years that they've closed it for, it's still not enough.
It's not going to be,
So
but it's better than nothing.
So what you're saying is, in layman's terms, is by the time you realise it's too late because you're going by numbers, then there's not enough numbers to replenish unless you wait a very long time.
We are going by numbers, but we're kind of not. It's more so age. So
but that's what I'm saying. Like if you just go by the numbers, then it's too late by the time you realise.
Yeah, well numbers aren't really it doesn't really do anything for the fishery. It's all about the age of the fish.
Yep.
And an argument that people make is, DPIRD has this program where you can donate your frames to the science, and it really shits me, pardon my French, that people go, don't donate your frames, you don't want to give them that information. They need that information in order to sort of, give wreck fishers some credibility in how much we're actually taking, because we don't have to donate our frames, we don't have to report our catch. The commercials do. Everything's very regulated. But also they think it's like fisheries aren't in there going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 snapper. Okay, 5 snapper for the day from that guy. That's too many. They're actually using those fish frames to determine the age of the fish. Yeah. So it's something worth considering is people actually need to go and read the science. And I'm not saying it's perfect. There's other stuff going on that pisses me off too. But at the end of the day, no one else is out there conducting science. And I have heard that there's actually been an independent study coming out, and what a lot of, I think, guys that are against this ban would probably hope for out of this study is that they're going to see that the science is flawed. I haven't seen that science yet. It hasn't been made public knowledge, but I know somebody that was involved with that testing, and he's like, man, it's going to ruffle some feathers because it's showing exactly what DPIRD have basically put out there. So in saying all that, while I am advocating for this closure, I think it's a good thing. What I will say is I don't think it's been rolled out the best, which has upset a lot of people.
Yep.
Some of these poor commercial fishermen, they're generations and generations of, family generations of people that have been in the industry. They've just been cut off pretty much overnight.
Is there reimbursement?
Yeah, but I think they've allocated something like $20 million. And when you look at the amount of families that are involved with
$20 million for the whole
I think commercial. So. I might be wrong, so don't quote me on that. But, it's not enough to basically cover. At least break even for these guys so they can go and find another career. And a lot of guys have it's for people that actually own the licenses. Some of them lease licenses. So they own the license, but then they lease it to another fisherman that owns the boat. He owns the gear, he owns the nets, he owns the lines. He's not going to get his money back. So that's really heavy. And then you've got the tackle shops. But I think on the other hand, while the tackle shops are going to take a hit, the good ones are going to last because there's so many other epic fisheries for us to explore in Western Australia.
So what are the opportunities out of this? I mean, to us, the demersal ban, or for me, it felt extreme. But now hearing that, it is like I would advocate for the reasons why. It is
extreme in the sense that they've shut it down pretty much like over the course of a couple of months. It's also extreme. You've got, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole too much on this stuff because it gets political and I hate politics, but they've got the offshore wind farm at Bunbury. They've got the Coburn Sound. They're building an outer harbour. Coburn Sound is one of the most precious resources that we have for snapper. They go in there and they spawn. So our southern species of snapper, that's its main spawning ground. You build that outer harbour and long story short, that gone. It won't happen anymore. Yeah. So there's that too. But one thing about our government is you've got fisheries, you've got all the other departments, so industry, you've got mining, whatever, they don't actually talk to each other. That's the problem. So they just want all the best things to happen for each department and they want it to happen. But unfortunately, this department treads on the toes of this department and it doesn't work. So government as a whole, I think, is pretty messed up. But fisheries and deep herd, I think this is probably going to get me some bloody death threats, I'd say. But like, I actually think they're doing a good job with what they have.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
So, and that is like, obviously I do a podcast with Mark. He is an ambassador for deep herd.
Yep.
It's got nothing to do with the politics and nothing to do with the decision making. His ambassadorship is all about handling your fish properly and changing up your catch and caring for them. So putting them in a nice slurry and things like that, not just throwing them in a bucket. So his ambassadorship has absolutely nothing to do with the decision making. This is purely a personal opinion.
Yeah.
So
It does,
I like it.
It does seem to me though that they've left it too late. Like they should have done this research a lot sooner, and then they might have been able to at least give the commercial a warning, and then maybe scale it so that recreational could still fish for those types of fish with a very strict bag limit, but at least they could still.
It's basically what you're saying, everyone, correct me if I'm wrong, is that it's poor management. Yeah, and you're right. I'd agree with you. It has been managed poorly, and the government needs to. It would be nice if they just put their hand up and went, you know what, we fucked up.
They'll never do that.
They won't.
Government doesn't apologise.
Yeah, so 4 years ago they increased the bag limit and changed the seat. So it was actually, I think they reduced it to like 6 months. They wanted to shut us out for 3 months. The advice from Deep Herd was actually to shut the fishery completely. So shut it until it recovers. No one gets access to it. But the likes of wrecked fish, stakeholders like tackle shops, all of them, they didn't want it to get shut. So the minister is there trying to get votes for the Labor government. So this is why I hate bloody politics. It's not always based on fact. But yeah, long story short, I do think it's got a bit to do with poor management, and we wouldn't be in the dire situation that we are currently in had the fishery have been managed properly. And one thing that I will say is the commercials have actually been calling for further restrictions for a very long time. They have, like I said, they report everything that they catch. We don't have a way of knowing how much wreck fishers are actually taking out of the ocean. And I guarantee you, in regards to the jewfish, we're taking just as much, if not more, than the commercials up until this point. So the commercials actually want this fishery, and so do the wrecks. We want this fishery to stay around for a long time, but people don't like the idea of their boat sitting in the driveway and, getting cobwebs on it or whatever. So, we want it to stay around, and we actually have to have a little bit of accountability as fishermen. You need to be stewards of the ocean, and you actually have to put the fish first. It's not, you can't be so selfish to think that just because you own a boat and you've spent $100,000, $200,000 or whatever on your boat, your fuel, your car to tow it, and your fishing gear, that you have the right to access this fish whenever you want. Unfortunately, it's not the case.
Be nothing left for anyone else.
It's actually a privilege to be able to do this. We live in a pretty special place, and we want it to stay the way that it is. And ideally, you want it to get back to how it was when my granddad was here fishing. If you look at it 20 years ago, we're in a much better position than where we were 20 years ago. But in that 10 years prior to that, you look at the numbers of fish that were around, and they were astronomical. So there was a big dent put in the fish populations 30 years ago. So I'd like to see a day where it gets back to that, to be honest. And if I can only fish for demersals for 3 months of the year or 4 or 5 months of the year, and I can only take one fish home, I'm happy with that. It's all good. It's all good. I'll go and target something else. And to be honest, if you're that butthurt that you can't target demersals, you're probably a shit fisherman. So you should get out there and try and catch something else.
I like how you mentioned that in your show. And across a couple of episodes there, it's like around that December, January time that's touched on a bit. So if you do need more info, because I think I've got so many questions I could ask all day, but I want to get through some other things.
Did that make sense anyway?
Yeah, no, 100%. No, it was well pulled. And it sort of flipped the narrative for me a little bit too.
And I'm not a scientist. I'm not, I don't have any...
But you're well informed.
I have a fishing podcast, but I don't earn money from it or anything like that. It's just a personal opinion.
It's well informed, and it's good.
Yeah. I think probably the takeaway from this is and then we can move on to something else.
Yeah,
is I think these government bodies, they need to give people a bit more credit.
Yeah.
To that they can actually understand if they explain why.
Yeah.
Because I've heard about the ban, but there's been nothing about why. So if they explain it, people understand shit.
Yeah, they're very muzzled in what they can talk
Yeah.
about too on social media and that sort of thing. Their
Right.
PR team
Yeah.
bloody sucks. I'll say that. Yeah, they're terrible at communicating. So, yeah, I'm with you, Ronnie. They need to do more education.
I think we spoke off air a little bit about, like, you mentioned being a steward of the ocean, but setting the right example as well. I think the way you sum that up would, for me, I understand it more now, and it's flipped the narrative on the extremity that I thought it was.
Yeah.
It's actually like, no,
It is extreme,
Yeah,
but it's required. It's
but-
what's needed because we're in a dire situation.
It's
and it's
extreme
more
because they
extreme
took too long.
Yes.
well, it's more extreme what's going on underneath, down on the ocean floor though.
Mm.
Like 7%
Yeah.
is a massive number.
Yeah,
That's
and
a
it's getting
scary number.
It's getting back. That's just, I think 7% was prior not the recent rule changes, but the rule changes before that was 4 years. It was at 7%.
Yeah.
And snapper's a little bit better, but it's
Still they're big numbers, but
not
I think
great.
if you do want more on that, definitely go over and check out Rothy and LeCras podcast, because it's not a hard and fast. This is it, and
yeah,
it's
not
right
that
or
simple.
wrong. And
read
there's
the
more
science.
going on too. I'd like listening to that latest one with Gatesy about the sharks. Like,
Yeah.
there's another can of worms that is just
Yeah.
wild to
Yeah.
listen to. So, but I want to get to some funner stuff.
Yeah.
I want to move on. Not that that's not fun, but it's
it's
deep. It's
yeah.
deep.
It's draining. Tell
You
that
know what?
much.
Actually,
I'm sick of talking about
one
it.
thing on that, I'm like, basic question, just yes or no me. So I just can't drop now. Like you just can't deep drop.
So
from a boat,
you
right?
you can still
It's not a
catch
yes or no
dewies
answer.
and snapper. So you can go to the south coast,
Yeah.
which is so the closure. There's different rule changes from pretty much the top to the bottom of the state.
Yeah, different zones.
The bioregion that we're in, so the area that we're in is the West Coast bioregion, which is from Kalbarri. It goes all the way down to Augusta.
Yep.
And then you get into your South Coast bioregion. You can still go down there and fish for dewies.
Right.
It's the West Coast bioregion is now completely closed to commercial fishing, which is for demersals anyway, which is quite sad. It's pretty gnarly. But they're saying recreational fishing for demersals from a boat will reopen in September 2027. But
Yep.
snapper off the beach are a pretty viable target. I've caught them casting baits off the beach before, and you can still use a drone to target them.
Right.
Jewfish are a little bit trickier to target using a drone, but you can
okay.
can still catch them that way.
different
So
ways,
it's,
yeah.
recreational fishing for demersal fish from a boat is currently banned.
Okay, gotcha. Right.
Drone sales have just gone up.
They have big time.
Have they?
I'm
Yeah.
talking to some of my mates that are in tackle shops and they reckon
Boat
they're
sales,
selling.
no good.
I don't know. We'll see. I've been keeping a keen eye on the boat market to try and hopefully upgrade, but it doesn't seem they're getting any
100%.
cheaper.
Everyone's looking for islands
Yeah.
and drones.
All right, let's move into the podcast, mate. So your show, how did that come about? How have you got into that? And you're like, we both know what Lek is like. We know Jake's running the show. We know Lek gets on there and just does his thing and looks pretty and does what he's there to do. But you're the brains behind this thing. Obviously, it's been thought up by you both.
Leka has a lot of input too,
But you're doing a lot of this technical stuff that I don't understand myself, that we have Jaden for our show, who is actually behind. We haven't heard Jaden today.
So
how are you,
jealous
mate?
of Jades.
Do you have a mic? Gee, he's been asleep back there. But tell us about Tall Tails and how that actually all come about.
Yeah, so I spoke about my granddad, and to me, he's a bit of a legend in my eyes. You know, he's an bit of an old chief, and I did grow up hearing him talk about fishing with his friends and talking about George and telling me stories about his fishing trips, and it's a bit of a nostalgic thing for me. But there's lots of fishing podcasts out there, so Australian fishing podcasts, but none of them for me were really hitting the mark of what I really wanted to hear. It's like there's plenty of how-tos and that sort of thing, and it's almost a bit preppy, you know, it's a bit nerdy, a lot of the fishing landscape. But what I really wanted to hear was those raw stories, like the shit that you hardly think is even true when you hear it being said, you know. And I had this idea for a little while. I actually listened to a surfing podcast that's no longer getting made anymore, but it's called the West Peak Sessions.
Right.
And some of my my dad's old mates were on that, and I was hearing their stories of surfing culture in Western Australia, and it was really nostalgic. And And I had the idea probably 3-4 years ago, and I said to Lecker, what do you reckon about this idea? And at that point, he had heaps going on with the four-wheel drive show. I think he was still pretty fresh out of his footy career, had opportunities left, right and centre. It wasn't a matter of him coming on board. But I thought, a fishing podcast would be cool, and I thought someone else would have done it by now, sort of thing. Sat on my hands for a while, didn't really do anything about it. It was always an idea in the back of my head. And then I went up on a spearfishing trip with my great mate Paul Nunn up at Dongra for a weekend, and we had a day of days, like just shooting mackies and bald chin. It was an awesome day. And there's a bit of an old chief up there. His name's Hicksy. This guy actually played footy with Lex's dad, Pete LeCras. Right. Yeah, he's Freo. And Paul said, mate, you got to meet him. He's a classic. He's exactly your type of bloke. This dude lives at the back. He owns the scrap metal joint in Dongra, built a house out the back, and he's the biggest larrikin ever. As soon as I walked in there, he's like, mate, you're in your fishing. I've got to show you this room. And he's taken me in this room. It's just got pictures all over the wall of like scales from all these fish that he's caught over the years. And one of the pictures in particular I remember was this tiny little dinghy floating on one of the rivers up north, and it was a barramundi the size of him. It was bloody huge. And we all know what fishermen are like. I can come in one day, Doug, and say I caught a tailor that was this big, and then the next day I come in and it's this big, and it's this big, it's this big. So it grows, right? And Hicksy was kind of telling me all these stories, and just so much character coming through, and you could see how passionate he was. And Paul said something to me. He goes like, "Oh yeah, he's probably bullshitting a bit," and I just went, "Yeah, he's just telling tall tales, mate. Like that's what he does." And that's where I was like, "There it is. Like that's it. Like, I've got to get a microphone in front of this guy." So another 2 years went on, and I didn't do anything about it. It was just had a career change. I'd gone up north, start working in the mines, left the surf industry, and I had a lot going on. And then Lek and I went fishing out on the river in 2024. And I said to him, I'm doing this podcast. Do you want to do it with me? And he actually was doing a potty with the Four Drive Show with Peter Woods. So that he'd actually started recording it already, and they hadn't released any. And he actually sent me one to listen to, and it was with Birchie.
Oh, yeah.
He'd already done one with Birchie. It was only 20 minutes long, and I was like, man, there's still so much like left on the table there.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like across a few different cultures. So it was four-wheel driving, camping, it was fishing. But I really wanted to do one that was like fishing focused. And I'd had it all mapped out. Like I said, I'm pretty technical with the details. I'm either in or I'm out with anything that I do. And when I decided I was going to do it, it was, all right, I'm going to plan this whole thing. So I had it all mapped out on paper, and I showed Lek and I told him the concept and how I wanted to do it. And he goes, damn, like, that's actually a pretty sick idea. Like, I'm interested in doing it. I said, well, let me know. Like, we'll go 50-50 in it. And it took him a few days, but I think he spoke to Em, his wife, who's an absolute legend. And I think she got in his ear and was like, you should do it. And he called me later and he goes, yeah, let's do this. So,
that's unreal.
Yeah, we just started planning it. And we
I actually didn't know that story. I couldn't wipe the smile off my face hearing about the birth of that. It's cool.
So it's a cool origin story.
Yeah.
I was actually going to do it with Jake Rotham cousin to start with.
Oh,
Kurt. He works
yeah.
at Halco, but Kurt was just similar sort of situation. He had too much going on at the time. And that was when Lecker didn't really have any interest.
Timing's everything, yeah.
Yeah, so timing just worked out. And, we started planning it. And a couple of months later, we recorded our first episode and we batch recorded them.
Yep.
But, God, it was a real steep learning curve for me. Like, I know my way around a camera, but audio equipment and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, so you've taken all of that on, basically. You have self-taught.
Yeah.
I mean, no stranger with the camera, but all of this stuff, editing, producing yourself, basically.
I wouldn't have had a clue how to do it.
So you've self-taught, along
the first couple
ride.
of episodes, I've listened back to a couple of them and I'm like, oh, my God, that sounds terrible. And, like, even filming, like, we filmed our first episode, but the idea was, like, it was never going to be on YouTube. It was just I needed to promote the podcast somehow, so we filmed it and cut some clips from it.
Yeah.
But, like, we had a real tight budget. Like, we didn't have a heap of money to throw at it. We were hiring a studio at the time, and I'd be sitting there talking to a guest and they'd be in the middle of a really wicked yarn, and I'd hear the camera go doo-doo and turn off because it would overheat. So I was like, little teething issues like that where, nothing really worked out. But then we found our rhythm, and it's kind of turned into this little beast now.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy how well it's going.
So-
I guess it just struck a chord. It's relatable. I
Yeah.
think is the biggest thing. It's people talking about their stories and their experience of fishing.
Yeah.
More so than the technical
And
aspects.
it's honestly like, mate, I've said this to you. I'm not a fisherman, but I've thoroughly enjoyed the tall tales that these boys are spinning. Like it's awesome to listen to. A lot of the time, you can relate a little bit because for us, forward driving and camping, it's like in areas that we've either been or want to go, and it's just like you say, it's a bit of a vessel to get there to go fishing for these blokes. So for us, we quite enjoy the other side of it, but it connects, especially in WA, which a lot of the guests have been from. But it's cool. You're 25 episodes in now.
Yeah,
released. 25 released.
Yep.
And
I'm trying to think of the one that I watched. It was the guy had the 2 kids with him. He got himself into. There was a guy in a situation.
Matt
that was Gatesy.
Yeah, that was our
recent one,
most recent episode.
Oh, was that the most recent one?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Matt Gates. He owns Tackle World Exmouth. He's
Yeah.
a bit of a legend. He would cringe if he was here hearing me call him a legend. But anybody who's
Mate, I reckon his boys are legends, eh?
Oh,
The
they
young
are
fellas,
old
man.
souls, aren't they?
They
Yeah,
are so
Dean and
cool.
Calvin, just ripper kids.
The reason why I'm bringing that particular episode up was it's not just about fishing either.
It's not.
Nah.
It's the key word that you just said there, Duggo, was connection.
Yeah.
I've met some of my best mates through fishing and met some really, really cool people that, have inspired me to be not only a better fisherman, but a better human and just approach life with a bit of a sense of curiosity. And, you never know what's around the next corner, do you?
Yeah.
So it's a vehicle to explore. And, it's cool what it's done. And I think the most rewarding thing that's come from, I'll share a little feel-good story from actually the Fall Drive Show weekend.
Yep.
I had this young lad come up to me. He messaged me on Instagram the weekend before. Obviously, I harp on about Mulloway. I love him. I talk about him a lot on the podcast. And this kid, Mason, he messaged me and he said, "Hey, Rothy, I'm trying really hard on the Swan River to catch a Mulloway." And he actually said this was so odd for me to hear. But he said, "I look up to you." I was like, "Why are you looking up to me, mate? I'm just a fisherman that works in the mines. What's going on?" He said, "I really look up to you and I really want to catch a Mulloway." And he was so polite. And usually if a kid asks for a spot, I'm like, "No, I'm not giving you a spot, but I'll tell you how to go about finding your own." Anyway, I wanted to give him a really good answer and I couldn't do that. I simply do not have the time to sit there replying to messages at the moment.
Yep.
But I said, "Mate, I'm going to be at the Fall Drive Show next week. If you come to the Fall Drive Show, come and tell me who you are and I'll help you out."
Yeah.
And he rocked up. I didn't think he
unreal.
would rock up, but he showed up with his dad.
Followed through.
Yeah, young dad, really cool kid, just a legend.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Mate, I'm trying my absolute hardest to catch a Mulloway and I can't crack it. I'm putting in hours and hours." And I spent probably 20 minutes with him explaining a few things, asking him some questions on what he was doing, what gear he was using, what time of day he was going and that sort of thing. And I said, "Okay, here's what you need to change. Here's I gave him a massive area to check out, but the fish kind of move in different sections of the river. So I sort of told him where a certain area that they would be in.
Yep.
And he can narrow it down from there, pointed him in the right direction. Just took him over to, I think Two Oceans Tackle had a tent there.
Yep.
They were selling a bit of gear. So I took him over there. This is what I'd use. This is why. This is, whatever. The following day, I woke up and I had another message from Mace and he'd gone out and caught a Mulloway night. So that for me was
That's gold.
We're doing something good here.
Yeah,
This kid's just been inspired to catch Mulloway. If it's anything like my first Mulloway capture, that is going to keep him hooked for life.
Yeah.
So our whole thing is and why we
unreal.
don't harp on about this demersal shit is because it's genuinely negative.
Yep.
And I think people, the powers that be in government, are paying attention to how wreck fishers behave and how they speak and that sort of thing. And if you look at us as a stereotype, it's overwhelmingly negative. So if we can have something that's there where people can come and listen to us talk and our guests talk, it's not about us. It's not about me and Lek. It's about the guests and it's about fishing as a whole. Yep. If they can come and listen to that and go, "You know what? These guys are good dudes and they care about the ocean," it's something that's overwhelmingly positive. And I feel like we have now, with how quick it's grown and how big it's become, we have a responsibility to show fishing for what it really is. And when you get down to the roots of fishing as a culture, it's just something that's fun.
Yeah, that's gold.
Something to enjoy and do with your family and your kids. And yeah, it's nothing but positive, really. Like, how special is it that you can go and catch something and pull it out of the ocean, treat it with respect, and you can serve that up for your family.
Yeah.
Like, that is a really, really cool thing.
That is, break it down like that, and it's cool. So, and what a story about Mace. That's unbelievable.
Yeah,
Like that.
Shout out to Mason.
Yeah, if you're on, he's probably be watching this.
Yeah. He's a legend.
100%. That's so good.
He made my year.
Yeah.
He
Mate,
honestly made my year.
Stuff like that is so, like, and not that you're looking for the reward, but that is...
Yeah, it was just
like
cool to hear.
Rewarding.
It was cool to hear.
And that's like, we see that when we're at the four-wheel drive shows with this bloke. Like, he's standing at the back of his car and there is a line just waiting to say hello to the man. Like, and it's like, it's wild to see. Like, I've experienced it a little bit through footy.
Yeah.
But it's like...
You're being humble, mate. You get it a lot.
No, well, when you're 25th on the list, you don't get it as much as Harley. But this, like...
I remember at the show, I got ditched because you were there.
Oh, no. Every now and then you get a footy dude.
Let's stop blowing wind up each other's asses. Anyway, Jay. But yeah, it's cool. If you can inspire somebody to do something, you should.
Unbelievable.
I reckon there won't be an episode this kid won't miss.
Yeah. Nah, he's in.
No,
he's like me with the Tall Tails podcast. I'm just into it. I want to touch on your trip with. So did we mention Birchie before?
Yeah,
we said Birchie, didn't we?
Yep.
So you've just been up to the East Kimberley.
Yeah.
With Lek and his crew. You've got obviously all the boys, but you headed up there, and it's like the way you explained it. Or you can probably just talk about it, but no filming, almost like just boys trip up there for the pure joy of fishing and being remote and camping and all the rest of it. But how'd you go on your Barramundi voyage?
Oh, my quest for a barra?
Yeah, your quest for a barra in Kununurra with a bit of four-wheel driving, like mainly four-wheel driving involved.
Mate, it was pretty much four-wheel driving.
Yeah.
If the mud ain't flying, you ain't trying.
Yeah, that's Birchie's saying. If the mud ain't flying, you ain't trying.
Yeah, there you go.
He's got stickers made up. I'll start by saying, that's Lek's annual trip where he goes with just a few of the boys. So Reese from Westerberg Boats, Luke Heyman that I think he's the managing director of Mount Hart Station.
Oh yeah.
Don't know if you would have seen them, right? They have the helicopter at the four-wheel drive show every year.
Yeah, I know of Mount Hart. Yeah.
So Reese from Westerberg, Luke Heyman, Birchie, Lek, myself, and Nath Robb from the Bully Butcher.
Yep.
So I got an invite on that trip this year, which was epic. So it's just the trip. It's a pretty much let your hair down trip for Lek. He's a very busy man. He's a farmer. He's on TV. He's 3 kids. He's got a lot going on. So it's kind of a trip for him where he can go away and just go barramundi fishing.
Yeah.
And you don't get a rest. It's not a holiday. Like, you're up at 6 a.m. every day and in bed at midnight pretty much. So it was cool to get up there, and especially with Birchie too. He's a very, very special individual. I won't tell his story. I'll leave that for him to tell. If you want to hear it, you can go on our potty and listen to that. But I think you guys should get him on here too to talk about the full driving because that man has some skills, I'll tell you that much. But yeah, we went up there in November last year, which, as you know, is wet season.
Nice and warm.
Yeah, hot, wet, humid. It's horrible to be up there conditions-wise. But when you're up there to go fishing and run a mark and be a bit of a mongrel, it's the perfect setting. Yeah. So we went up there just before that cyclone had rolled through. I think it took out one of the homesteads further up in the East Kimberley. Having a brain fart here, but it was a gnarly cyclone. I think it brought over 120 mil of rain in like 12 hours or something like that.
When was this one?
This was November last year.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, it was the cyclone that came through over the top end. It wiped out one of the stations up there and basically dumped a whole lot of water on the catchment areas that are up there. So have you done much four driving up there, Ron?
Yeah.
East Kimberleys?
Yeah.
So you know what it's like. It just rains into these catchments and flows into all these rivers.
Yeah.
And we basically flew into Kununurra, stayed at Birchie's house for a bit. We were meant to go straight out to Home Valley Station, which his family now, it's basically the station's been bought by somebody and handed back to the traditional owners to take care of. So I think I might be saying it wrong, but he's Ballangara man. So that's his mob. Yep. But to get into that station, you've got to cross the King River and the Pentecost River, which flow in different directions because they've both got different catchments. So
it's wild.
we couldn't actually get in there when we wanted to get in there. So we went to Wyndham, launched the boat, and we went up to, I think it was Parry's Creek.
Right.
So got up there and the water was really dirty, and I've never been barramundi fishing, right? So I was just a passenger on this trip. But as we were driving up one of the rivers, I saw a barramundi jump out of the water, and me and Reese had looked at each other. We were on Lex boat, and we've just like put our hands together and just gone, here we go, we're on. Amazing setting. So this is what I talk about. Fishing's not just about the fish. It's about who you're with, where you are, the journey to get there and everything that happens along the way. We thought the fishing was going to be hot. I was like, yeah, I'm barra legend. Like, let's go. I'm going to have, get a good barra today. Donut. We caught nothing. So we had live baits. We could hardly find bait, actually. But
really?
if anyone's going to find bait, it's Birchie. The man's a weapon on a cast net. But yeah, didn't catch anything. I think one of the boys that we were up there with, he got one small barra that day, and then we ended up pulling the boats out, and we were going to go out to Home Valley Station the following day, or at that night actually. So we ended up driving out there, and the river was too high to cross, and it was amazing to see how quick things can change up there, because when we rolled up, so all the cars had we basically were in 80 series. Birchie's big on his 80 series, and we'll get into that. Yeah. But Reese, because he builds boats, he's got to have a ram. So he's bought this brand new ram. It doesn't have a snorkel on it. We couldn't cross the river because it would have gone in his air intake. So we had to wait for the river to go down to a metre, and we literally sat there having a few beers. We put a rock where the waterline was, and an hour later it was like 30 centimetres that had gone down. So we ended up crossing the river. We had boats on, like towing boats over there. It was crazy. And what I'm probably harping on a bit here, but I feel like I need to give you every detail of that trip. But I wound the window down as we rolled up to Home Valley Station. I was like, Reece, just turn the car off for a second. I'll send Jaden the audio recording, because I stuck my phone out the window just to get an audio recording of what it sounded like. And holy shit, like, you could hear all these insects, frogs, everything just going off because the rain had come in and sort of wetted everything up. And it was at that moment that I was like, okay, I'm in the wild here. Like, this is pretty full on. We pull up 100 metres, get out the car. We're at this, like, Home Valley Station's amazing. It's like El Questro pretty much. You've got these beautiful cabins that you stay in. Like, everyone thinks we're roughing it. We weren't. We were going back to nice beds every night. But I hop out the car, and Nathan Mongrel, he's just hopped out the car, and there's a freshwater croc. He's grabbed it. It's like that big, and he's trying to get the thing to bloody bite me. So, yeah, that was an experience in itself. But, God, I've got a clip of that too. I'll send it to you. But I pretty much carried this croc around for like an hour thinking it was my pet. I was just going, what? This is full on. Like, this is so epic. But
don't mistake that for a salty.
Yeah, it was only small, but cool nonetheless. And it was an amazing trip. But what followed from that trip was 4 days of really, really hard fishing. We didn't catch anything. We went hunting and
bush turkey.
We didn't get a bush turkey. I think, are they called a bastard? Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Or busted? Have I just said it wrong?
Bird, yeah.
Yeah. So we didn't get to hunt. Busted. We shot a cow. I think Lex shot a cow while we were up there. So got all our meat from the land, and I had a crack at a cow. It's actually my first foray into hunting. I shot it, but unfortunately didn't kill it, and there was a good lesson in that. Get good with the gun before you shoot something. But
I've got a funny story just to cut in on your thing that reminded me of Lecker. So Lecker, I went up to Lecker's one day, the farm, with Cripper. And anyway, we did some shooting, and Lauren, my missus, is not into that at all.
Yeah.
And
she's a lover.
So she was like, we shot a goat. And I didn't shoot it. Like, we were just on like the hunt for it. Like, we were just mucking around through the bush and come up like to these goats. Anyway, I can't remember who actually shot it, but I told the boys, like, boys, just can you keep this like pretty quiet? Like, Lauren's just wasn't into this. I don't need to probably share this with her.
So she was there with you?
She wasn't there. Okay. She was at home, but gotcha. I knew, like, you know what Leck is like.
Yeah.
And anyway,
he's a mongrel.
So we cut a little back strap off this goat, and it was all on private property or whatever. It was like. I cut a little bit, and we were just going to go back and cook it on the fire and have a taste in that. Tasted pretty good, but as it's cooking on the fire, the boys know I'm like keep this on the DL, please.
Yeah.
And they like take their video on it, and then they're like swinging the camera around the van. They're like, thanks for the feed, Duggo, like all this sort of stuff. I'm like halfway home, and I get a call from Lauren, and she's filthy with me, thinking I've like shot this goat, and she like told me not to, and I was like, call like Lecker and Cripper. I'm like, you pricks, you just set me up. Like, I'm going home to the doghouse here. Like, oh, it's the biggest. And still to this day, she thinks that I shot this goat. And I'm trying to. Nah, she was veggie at the time,
right?
And yeah, just didn't want me. Like, I get it. Like, it's not for everyone shooting stuff. Like,
mate, even me shooting that cow, like, I thought I'd be okay with it, but there's something different about shooting.
It's not.
Call me a pussy, but there's
no,
something different about
everyone,
shooting that
100%.
big animal. But
as long as you eat it, I'm okay with it.
Well, yeah, I was. Me too, 100%. I'd rather know where my food comes
I actually
from,
didn't shoot this thing though. That was the thing. So I was just sitting there in trouble for no reason.
And Lecker's a good hunter too, man.
Like, he didn't miss. Like, this thing was. Maybe even Cripper did. I can't remember, but I was just like, oh.
But those boys both grew up in similar settings. They were both country boys, like farm boys.
I didn't shoot it, Lauren. And then anyway, I was in trouble. But anyway, sorry. Back to Birchie and the Kimberley.
Yeah,
mate.
I mean, God, how much do you want to know about that trip, really? Like, because there are so many little stories that I could share with you.
You do cover it a lot, but I think mainly, how do you enjoy the 80 series? Like, being in the old truck, like, and I know why Birchie has them.
Yeah,
but like,
I sort of had that realization while I was up there. Like, I know why he chooses 80 series now, and he explained it to me.
He also doesn't like using aircon.
Really? I didn't pick up on that.
Was he using it when you were there?
Well,
maybe just
he's got a new one. He's just bought a new second handy that's an absolute rig. I think the aircon was definitely working in that one, but
I think he's just looking after you boys then.
For most of the time that we were up there, we were in Big Johnny, so he names all of his cars. Different names. So we were in Big Johnny, and that thing there's no way that would pass a pits inspection. No chance.
What you should touch on for us, because then I've got a few like quick-fire sort of things, because we're taking a fair bit of your time here, mate. And I've got to go in 25 minutes. But with so trying to escape. So when you were given the double wristy, tell us about that story. Listen to this. But then tell us about Lecker, because Ronnie knows Lecker quite well as well. It'd be funny as to picture Lecker in this mode.
I have no doubt that through your listener questions, Lecker has stitched me up somehow, so I'm going to throw him under the bus first. But so Big Johnny is one of Birchie's 80 series. He uses them. I'll quickly touch on why he chooses an 80 series. He explained it to me. So they're over-engineered. They're an absolute beast of a car. That's why they're in such high demand. I mean, you might have different thoughts here, Ronnie, but Birchie chooses them because he knows how to fix them, and they're easily fixable. So
purely mechanical, basically.
Pretty much. Yeah. So when you're up there, the amount of mud and water and that sort of thing, you could not drive. Let's say, for example, a modern Ford Ranger or a Hilux. You couldn't drive, or even Reese's Ram. That the biggest fear that we had was that the sensors and all that sort of thing would start to play up.
Yep.
Up there, he is like the rawest of raw. He's in mud every day. He's crossing water every day. He likes the 80 series because they just hardly break, and when they do, he can fix them. Yep. So, we got to see that firsthand. And also, being over-engineered, he really pushes his cars. He was on limiter a lot of the time when we were up there, especially in the mud. And he understands the capability of that vehicle sort of so well. But anyway, we'd had an epic night. Lecker had just caught a 111 centimetre barra on a hand line. We were hooting and hollering, and every evening sort of the storms roll in, and this amazing lightning storm came in over the ranges, and it was one of those moments where you sit back and you just go, how good is this? Like, this is amazing. Anyway, Birchie's anniversary was the night before, so he'd got his whole family out to the station, and I'm not just saying his missus and kids, like his whole family. We're out at this station, and they were fishing with us for the day, but having the kids there, he wanted to get them back nice and early. So we caught that barra. Birchie's nicked off. We've been left with Big Johnny, and I think Reese's Ram was there as well. Boat was in the water. We had Lex fish trap in there. And Birchie's called us, and he's gone, oi, there is gnarly rain in the catchment. That river's about to come up big time, and we're going to be stuck here for weeks if we don't get out of here in the next hour and a half. So we had to go back to the station, pack up all our stuff and get across the river in time. Otherwise we were going to be stuck there. So pretty much what happened is we went over there in 3 vehicles, but because Birchie's family had come across, they'd left their car on the other side and Birchie had gone and picked them up. So there wasn't enough room in the cars for all our stuff and all of us. So Big Johnny stays on the station. It's not fit for the road, but we literally had no choice. We had to drive Big Johnny back to Kununurra.
Yeah.
This rain has come in so thick and fast that even some of the drainage points on the road were like a metre deep of water. So when we started driving from the station back to Kununurra, the brakes went on the 80 series. So we had no brakes. So Lek was driving, he had to gear down to slow down. And of course we're coming over these ridges and you go into these drainage points and they're full of water. So pretty dangerous. And we didn't have any windscreen wipers. Could not see a thing. Could not see a thing out of the water, out of the windscreen. So they'd actually done this on a trip prior where we had to tie a fishing line to the windscreen wipers, thread it out the window, and I was sitting there going like this. So I was sitting there going like this, trying to work the windscreen wipers, and Lex going, I still can't see. You need to go faster. So I'm sitting there going like this, and Nate's sitting next to me like, I was having the time of my life, truth be told. Lex driving, he's like trying to slow down using the gears, like intensely focused.
Yeah.
And Lex pretty cool, calm and collected under pressure, but I nearly saw him crack. He was pissed off. I think he told me to fuck off a couple of times, like being serious. Because I was like, come on, mate. Like we talk about 2 different types of fun. There's the fun that you have in the moment where you're going, how good is this? This is so much fun. I'm jumping on a trampoline or something like that.
Yeah.
But then you've got the other type of fun that contributes to your core memory where it like might have been really shit at the time. You might have been sleeping in a swag, getting bitten by mozzies and you couldn't sleep because it was so hot or whatever.
Yeah.
Or you might have been driving a 80 series Land Cruiser with no windscreen wipers or brakes through the gnarliest storm you've ever been in and like actually panicking for your life. And that's the kind of fun that we're in at the same time. And I just knew, also thinking about the podcast and that we were going to recap it, I was like, this is going to make wicked content.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm there laughing and giggling and Lex just not having a bar. But as I'm going like this, working the windscreen wipers, Nath being the larrikin that he is just going, oh yeah, and I'm just sitting there going like this. So God, I'm skiing in the middle of 2 blokes here. So yeah, that was we recapped that in the potty, but God, it was funny.
That is gold. And you got out.
We got out.
You got out. Yeah.
So we got back.
All's well.
Had to do that river cross. I think we crossed the King River at like 1.2 meters. So Birchie had a tinny on the back of his Land Cruiser, and as he was crawling through, the tinny just went full
wow. Full floating.
to the side.
Yeah, that is wild.
Nearly T-boned.
Bow facing the current.
Yeah.
There's
Jackknife, that's the word I was
another
looking for.
podcast you got to go and watch.
But you guys got to get Birchie on the podcast just to talk about his forward drive. Like I saw another level of skill when it comes to forward driving. Watching, we actually went and recovered a couple of lads. I'll leave this story, but we recovered a couple of lads the next day, and he had a hub blow in his car, and it turned into this whole 24-hour ordeal, which is meant to be a 2-hour recovery mission. So
wild.
I'll tee him up to come and have a chat with you guys. Down here now.
Does he get down much?
Every now and then.
Yeah.
Got a few questions about it because he was asking me at the last time I saw him at the show.
Yeah.
He was talking to me about tyre pressures and he had something really interesting.
Yeah, okay.
About not lowering in certain situations.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Yeah, but
I'll send you some footage. I had my A7 IV camera out. Filming some stuff. I've got some good footage that I probably won't use for anything. So
we'll layer it into this now.
I've been meaning to get up there as well, but just the timing. Yeah, it will happen.
It's really special that you get to explore that land with him too. He's the way that he navigates the
country.
land and that sort of thing. He's just, they talk about connection to country, and as a white fella who grew up in the city, you kind of think, oh yeah, whatever. But when you go up there and you actually experience, you go, okay, I get it now.
Yeah, and there's a whole lot more levels beneath that too.
Yeah. A few quick fire ones for us, then we'll go to around the fire pit, which is just our listener questions. But they're not quick fire. You can elaborate a little bit, but I just want to know, what are you targeting at the moment?
Fishing-wise?
Yep. It's currently early February in Perth.
Yep.
Weather is hot.
Yep.
What are you targeting at the moment?
In terms of what everyone can go out and
Well,
do,
no,
or
you
what
personally.
Yeah, so I love my tailor fishing. That's like my first love. That love for tailor will never wane. But I'm really interested in trying to work out our local kingfish population. They're tricky fish. There's lots of them around there, and I find them without issue all the time when I go out there. But getting them to eat lures, I really love lure fishing.
Yep.
That's been the challenge. But yeah, big kingfish is top of my list at the moment.
Nice. Boat or land-based fishing at the moment, or preference overall?
If I could only do one for the rest of my life, it'd be land-based.
Okay.
Just talking to what fishing actually does for you and the places you get to see. I think, when you're out there in the middle of the ocean, it gets old after a little while.
Yep.
Fishing on the land you get to see some pretty amazing places. So it'd be land-based for me. But at the moment, I do have a little tinny, and that's sort of where my interest is working out the inshore fishery that we've got off Perth and places like Shark Bay and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Do you launch at random beaches and stuff?
Yeah, I've got a extended drawbar so I can launch off the beach too. The other thing is we've got a really, really hot pelagic. So your fish that are on the top of the water column, so your marlin, mackerel, dolphin fish, that sort of thing. We've got a really warm current coming down this year.
Okay.
The last couple of years. So pelagic fishing is going to be really good, and Lek and I are actually competing in our first game fishing comp in a couple of weeks actually.
Yeah, nice.
So looking forward to that.
As a team?
Yeah, we're flying Whitey down from Exmouth to skip the boat for us. So
cool.
we're going to have a crack at the Sovereign Blue Marlin Classic.
Unreal. Where's that out of?
Fremantle. So it's run by the Fremantle Sailing Club, but
Mm.
we're pulling up at Rotto every night in the mooring and sleeping on the boat.
Oh, yeah.
So
Sweet.
Should be sick.
Favourite camp or fishing location combined? Like camp spot?
So
favourite
truth
location?
be told, I actually haven't explored much of the north of Western Australia with my fishing. The furthest I've gone on my own dime, I obviously work up north, gone pretty far up the state, but the furthest I've gone on my own dime is Naarloo.
Right.
I haven't been to Exmouth, I haven't been to Coral Bay, which some people think, what the hell? But I'd say it's Naarloo. It's got a special place in my heart. You can surf there, you can fish, camp and by the water.
Yeah.
It's
I've never
beautiful
been,
up there. Mate, you got to put it on your list.
Have you fished off Dirk Hartog?
No, so that's on the list as well. Big Taylor over there would be pretty.
Apparently it's really, really good.
Yeah,
but
it
I
is.
couldn't catch
Lek
shit.
just got back. Lek just got back. Big Taylor, mackerel, everything.
Yeah,
over
Lek
there.
sent me a little video actually last night of that.
No, it's on the bucket list. I'm hoping through the podcast. Well, I know through the podcast a lot of opportunities to come up, which I'm really
100%.
grateful for.
Like it has for us, Like we, getting a trip out of it. So I was going to ask north or south, but I also want to add east in there because I know sometimes inland stuff for you is a bit of a passion as well.
Yeah, well, I've been trying to tee you up to get out.
Yeah, that'd be the go, I reckon.
Yeah.
But
I love. So Duggo's talking about our West Australian freshwater fishery.
Where would you go, like east?
When I say east,
it's
I mean
hardly
inland a
east.
little bit.
It's the hills basically. So we got rainbow and brown trout and redfin perch over here, which are an invasive species, but wicked fishing, great for eating too. So I don't want to give away too much about that fishery, but I'll talk about it. So you actually don't have to go that far south to get freshwater fishing. You can pretty much head straight east from the city and you will find freshwater fisheries with your rainbow trout and stuff like that. But places like Pemberton, Harvey, Dwelling Up, amazing river systems, and all the rivers also have a feeder stream too. So it comes down from the hills, the rain comes down from the hills.
Yeah.
And there's trout in there. So there's actually a lot of areas that you wouldn't think you'd catch fish, but you pull trout out of there.
Yeah, up at Brunswick, you were doing a river crossing and the freaking rainbow trout just went past.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's pretty epic. Yeah. But yeah, to answer your question, north, south, east, I think I spent a lot of time down south. I love going salmon fishing, grew up surfing down there, spent a lot of time in Gracetown as a kid. But for me, my interest is definitely north at the moment.
Yep.
I'm hoping to get up to Karratha end of year.
Yep.
To fish with Ryan Turner and Buzzer, a couple of lads up there. Ryan, we've had on the podcast, Brendan Cartledge. They've invited me up there to go GT fishing with them. So
Yeah, they reckon Karratha's the spot, eh?
yeah, well, the Pilbara's kind of like that area where you get your real tropical northern species, but you're also your southern or sort of Midwest species as well. So you get everything.
Massive range.
Yeah, well, you can do barra fishing, you can go game fishing, you can reef fishing, got the Montebello Islands. So, like Lek and I firmly believe that the best fishermen in our state most of the time come out of that Pilbara region.
Okay.
Like in terms of
Knowledgeable.
not specialists, but that they can do everything.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, righto. Now, you've had a drive of Lecca's Super Duty.
Yeah, I had a quick run.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know it was on the road and very, very quick, but he is loving it at the moment by all reports. How did you, because it's been a big topic of ours on here, is the Ford Ranger Super Duty.
Yeah, well, I've read a bit and listened to a bit.
Yeah.
They're copping a lot of flack, aren't they?
How did it drive?
Mate, it's got balls, I tell you that
Does
much.
it?
Yeah, and it's
Same
really
engine though, isn't it?
What's that?
Same engine.
I'm not too sure. I'm not.
I think it
probably
is,
not,
yeah. Was
don't
it?
pay
Did
too
he
much
have the
attention.
canopy on it yet?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fully
okay,
rigged.
right. Oh,
yeah,
right.
so it's actually amazing.
There you
It's
go.
a proper show car.
Yeah.
I think TLX did all the canopy and that.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
They've even etched like personalised
Yeah.
wording and pictures
That
into
is
his
cool.
tray setup and everything.
What's he got written in it?
I can't
He's got
remember.
the dogs' names, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think it's Frankie's box. So he's
Yeah.
got a dog
Frankie's
box.
box.
Yeah. So he's got Frankie's kennel or whatever else, something like that on there. But amazing car to look at.
Yeah, it does
but yeah,
look
in
nice.
terms of how it drove on the road, I was super impressed. Real comfortable. It feels like you're in a bit of a spaceship.
We actually, he did say come and have a drive. I need to jump in it because we speak about it all the time and none of us has driven
Yeah,
one.
it's like driving on a cloud, man. It's like super.
It's a bit like the 79, I would have thought. Maybe not.
Driving on a wonky cloud.
Now, I'm reluctant to ask you this.
they drive pretty good.
But
shoot.
why don't you wear trucker hats with mesh out in the sun anymore?
Who did this come from, Lecca?
No, I've just noticed.
So actually, on the I was on the river. Who asked this question?
No,
This come from my brother.
no, I did hit him up, but he got nothing back to me.
So
It was Lecca.
yeah, righto. That's a
The
good one.
dog.
He's actually looked after me here. I thought he would fully stitch me up. So
No, he was good. He gave
I
me
won't
some
tell
good
you what he
topics.
asked on the first podcast I ever went on, which was I'll just add. Lecca had a fishing podcast before he went into Tall Tails with me, and it was shit. So I went on that podcast first, and he proper stitched me up. Listeners, if you want to listen to it, go and find it because it's so inappropriate for me to repeat what he asked me on that. But anyway,
I'm curious now.
Yeah.
on the river about 2 years ago, I wore a trucker. So I'm bald. There you go. Have a look at that sexy tone right there, just shining right. So I was on the river. And I spent a full day looking for mulloway. I thought I got my hat on, I'm all good. Nah. You can't wear a mesh trucker cap as a bald man on the river without sun cream. I took my hat off. I was like, oh, my head's feeling a bit tender.
Oh my God.
And I got home and of course you can't see the top of your head. So I've got my phone and I've looked at the top of my head. I had a full star trucker that pattern in the top of my head and was so fried. So I walked around for about 2 months with get quite brown when I'm in the sand. I tan quite easily. I had the perfect trucker hat star tan in the top of my head.
That's
So
gold.
that is why I don't wear.
That is
I
funny.
also with the D at the back of your trucker hat. I wore. I'm an idiot because I did it twice. I wore my hat backwards on the boat for about an hour.
And you got
a couple of weeks ago, I had a big.
Got the window.
Call me a dickhead. I had a full D on my forehead. So
Mate,
that's why I usually wear a bucket hat now. So.
If it makes you feel better, I've had the D on my head too.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah,
You've had the D on your head.
I've actually got.
Let me clarify this one. I was at the V8 Supercars.
Yeah,
It was in May, overcast, wore my hat backwards.
yeah,
I got so freaking burnt. My whole face was red. I had the D.
yeah.
And I had to, my mum had to get me this stuff that you put in the fridge.
Aloe vera,
No, like this special burn cream they use.
like 3rd degree burn.
Yeah, because my whole face was peeling, man. It was blistered.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I try to look after myself in the sun a little bit more now. I'm not young. Leathery like
on
a
a starfish
handbag.
in your
Sorry,
head.
mate.
I've actually got a video of my head that I'll send you guys so you can shop it because it's actually impressive how
I want to see it, yeah.
how defined
Symmetrical
that
it was.
star was on my head.
Have you run the razor over that this morning?
Nah, yesterday.
Jeez, it's clean. I was
Pretty-
going to say.
Yeah, it's super shiny when I run the razor over it. I
Yeah.
figured I'd be under the lights, so I don't want it reflecting, blinding everybody.
Very good. Righto, we'll go to around the fire pit, mate. We have taken way too much of your time already. This has been going for a long time.
It flies, doesn't it?
It does fly. It does fly. So around the fire pit is our listener questions. I'm going to throw to Jaden. I just missed your voice today, mate. I want to hear it.
Oh, mate, I wrote them down just so you could read them out.
No, I want to hear your voice across the air. So around the fire pit, listener questions, viewer questions, and I think they are, they're for you.
Cool.
We put it out there.
Are
So
they tame or?
Yeah, they're pretty tame.
All right, hit
All
me.
right, this one, Fongiam. If you could only travel with 3 combo, what would it be?
That is a great question.
Talk to me about what 3 combo is.
Yeah, I was
3 combos, so rod and reel.
Oh, okay.
Basically.
Yeah.
So if I could only
but that's only 2 things.
okay, so, well, you can pick 3.
Oh,
3 rods.
So my first one would be something around, I could probably narrow this down to 1 actually, but I'll go 3. I'd go a 9'2" rod rated to cast something between 15 and 45 grams with a 4,000 size reel, 20-pound line. So that's my tailor setup that I can also use for things like herring or be way overgun for herring, but salmon off the beach. You could even catch small pelagics. So that would be number 1. Number 2 would be a 5,000 size reel with like a 7-foot rod off the boat, maybe rated to 30 pounds. That would be for like dolphin fish, that sort of thing.
what's
and
a
then
5,000?
5,000 is the size of the reel. So it's got a certain amount of drag and certain amount of line capacity that would just be suited for that particular fish.
So what's a 5,000?
5,000 would be like a
Is
so
that
it's a
length or-
size. So I'd use it like my favourite reel is a Daiwa certate. So it'll be a Daiwa certate, and the size would be a 5,000. So if we were talking about what would be your preference for a tyre size, you would say a 32 or a 33.
Is that how much line it can hold?
Oh, about 300 metres probably.
Oh, so what is the 5,000?
5,000 it's just the way
It's
they
just-
size
okay,
them. It's
okay.
like why do they call my shoe size a 10? It's just,
Okay, all right,
It's
cool.
just how they've sort of gauged it.
Yep.
And the second one would be a light tackle combo, which is a 2,500 size reel, so 2,500. And that would be for stuff like your brim and whatnot. So I'd probably choose something in sort of the 7-foot range with, smaller reel.
Nice.
Yeah, great question.
When people say they're fishing on light gear, and they you always hear oh, I pulled it in on light gear.
Yeah.
Is that just like,
Well, it depends on what you're catching.
okay. So light for whatever you've caught
Yeah.
is usually just
Yeah.
what they mean.
Yeah, so
okay.
marlin, right? You've got a lot of guys for big blue marlin who use 37 kilo line, 37 kilo tackle.
Yep.
But if you caught it on 24 kilo tackle
Caught a marlin on
or
light.
16 kilo tackle,
Yep.
that's light line.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
I always
you
just
can
feel like that's
go
the
up
most.
and down the scale of fish size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that.
It's
just
more of
comes
a
up all the
challenge.
time. Gotcha.
So it takes
'Cause
more
the line would
what
break?
they call angling. Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you don't adjust your drag settings or whatever, so how much pressure it takes for that fish to start pulling line off your reel, you can snap the line. So
Okay. So it's like a longer battle.
correct. Yeah. So when we talk about world records and stuff like that, it's not only you've got your all tackle record, which is just the biggest fish on any tackle, but then you go to line class records. So Ryan Turner, who we had on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, he's got world record tiger shark. I think it's something around 230 something kilos. He caught that on 3 kilo line. So 3 kilo line breaks at 3 kilos. Yeah. So that's a pure
Oh, did you catch it next to the boat?
What the?
mate.
How do you do that?
Pure skill and angling ability, plus a good skipper on the boat.
And how many hours was that?
Not sure, but yeah, he
huge.
talks about it on the podcast if anyone wants
Wild.
to hear about it.
Far out.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Nathan Berry, 83, most memorable fish.
Shout out to Nath. He's a loyal listener of the potty.
Nice.
Padbury local as well. The most memorable fish. That is a hard question. I've got to go with my first mulloway that I caught on the Swan River.
Same as Mace.
Yeah. Yeah. So the first mulloway I ever caught was still my biggest to this day.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it was in a spot where I kind of knew that they frequented. Like that was a good, reliable mulloway sort of area. Caught it on lure with one of my best mates, Anton Pope. He'd never caught one either, and he's the ultimate hype man. Throwing lures on my own boat, did the work myself to find where those fish would be, and we were about to give up actually. We'd been casting lures around for about 2-3 hours, going to move spots, and I'd been snagged on some structure that was close by earlier on, so I'd had to retime my rig, and I've twitched the lure, and this thing's just like the take on a mulloway is you can't mistake it for anything else when you're in the river because there's nothing as big as mulloway in the Swan River.
Yeah.
It's a donk. Like it is a hard hit, and this fish was just so bloody heavy that I thought I was snagged actually, but I had a feeling that I might be onto a fish, and it took about 10 seconds for me to feel a head shake through the rod.
Right.
And this thing just put up the sickest fight ever, and watching it come up from the depths and that big flank of silver come up, that was, and I'd really wanted to catch a mulloway because I'd heard my granddad talk about it forever.
Yeah.
I'd seen photos of him as well, catching them. But yeah, that's definitely my most memorable. But what I will say is these days, there's still so many fish that I'm yet to tick off and that I'd like to tick off. It's not so much about the fish for me anymore. It's about who I'm with and where I was and what it took to get there. And probably the most memorable fish for me over the last few years have been the ones that I've been able to get other people onto. So even talking about, Mason, that's story earlier, like I'll remember that forever.
Memorable.
And even though I wasn't there, like that's memorable.
Yeah.
So I love taking people out and getting them onto fish for the first time.
Yeah. What was the size of that mulloway, just while we're on it? That's your record.
Mate, truth be told, I was so excited that I didn't put it up on a
Yeah.
measure and I didn't weigh it. I
How
just
good
wanted to get it back in the water and release it.
That's awesome.
But I'm guessing if I'll be humble about it. I think it was about 1.1, 1.2 metres long.
Yeah.
So big fish, bloody heavy, probably around 12 kilo.
Far out.
15 kilo.
You took Owen Douglas out
Yeah.
trying to catch. Were you targeting
we were trying
mulloway
to
that day? Yeah.
target
He'd be
mulloway,
another good chat on here, actually.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah.
I want to be absolutely he would.
Yeah.
He's
maybe
he's
We
funny.
didn't get mulloway that day. We found them. So I'm pretty good at finding them now.
Yeah.
Using my,
You can hear them, can't you?
in certain times of the
it's
year,
nice.
yeah. So
Okay.
in
Hear
around September, October, November, when you pull them up and you've got them out of the water, they croak. So they do this thing with their throat where they're basically
Can you give us one?
absolutely not. They croak anyway. It sounds like a motorbike frog. But if you've got an aluminium boat and you're in the deeper reaches of the Swan where they breed in around sort of September, October, they school up and it literally sounds like frogs.
Oh, wow.
So you can hear them flying through the
vibration
bottom
through the
of your
boat.
tinny, yeah.
That's cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I've just got a question I just want to chuck in. Have you ever used the full chook?
Will and powerfish style.
Yeah.
Whole chook. No, I've never used a full chook, mate. I do use them for burley though. If we've got a leftover chook, chuck them in the burley pot.
What about a 3 metre flatty?
Nah, I'm still trying to find the Swan River 3 metre flatty.
Okay.
We'll
Is that the
see.
next question?
Yeah. Next question, Rory.
A lot of your listeners will understand what Rodney's saying.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh,
There's
yeah?
this larrikin
Oh,
over
mate.
east. Don't even talk about the guy. I reckon he's a bit of a knob.
All right, Rory Garmy, where can I find a 1 metre flatty?
1 metre flatty.
Did I just jump in?
Well, not in WA. So we've got dusky flathead bartail flathead over here and blue spot flathead. Over east, they have the different species of flathead called the dusky flathead, and they get up to 1 metre. So, yeah, you got to go to the East Coast, brother. I'm not the man to answer that question
There
for
you go. Fong Design Studio. Who has the best designer?
That's Fongy. So, Fongy, guys know Fongy, don't you?
Yeah, we know.
Fongy did our stuff.
did the
I
rebrand.
was going to say, doesn't he do our stuff? I'm sure he does
Fongy's
yours
I
too.
think we
boy.
both have equally as good a designer, mate. Shout out
okay,
Fongy.
there you
Yeah,
go.
Fongy
Fongy,
designed the Tall Tails logo and does a bunch of work for Backchat. So.
Yeah,
Yeah, Fongy's
nice.
unreal.
Shout
Data
out to
Ham, if you had to photograph one fish for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, that's a great question too. He's another loyal listener of the podcast. From the fish that I've been around, nothing beats a dolphin fish or a mahi-mahi. Yeah, hopped in the water with them last year. We went out to the Fads off Durian and they're beautiful fish. They light up green and gold and
Dolphin.
spotted blue all over them. You find them in
dolphin
blue water. Yeah, so I hopped in the water with them.
Dolphin fish is mahi-mahi.
Yeah, mahi-mahi.
Gotcha.
Yeah. They got a bunch of different names.
Yeah,
Mahi-mahi, dolphin fish,
Yep.
Dorado.
Very colourful fish.
Yeah, super
That's
colourful.
cool.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, super colourful, and they usually you're out in deep water, which is usually clean water as well. So
Yeah.
beautiful to photograph.
Lovely. Tyler's gone walkabout. What's your biggest wood duck moment?
Why
Oh,
didn't you ask Jacob's question?
I'm getting to it.
Okay.
Save the best for last.
Wood duck moment is what these boys do. On
yeah. So
each-
if you're a wood duck, you're just a kook basically. So if you have a wood duck moment, you do something like leave the bungs out or
Like a rookie fail.
yeah, full
Yeah.
rookie fail. I'm going to be honest. I wish I had one for you, but I don't have too many that are that bad yet. Like
because your attention to detail is high.
Yeah,
That's
maybe,
why.
but also like a lot of these guests that we're getting on have wood duck moments because they've just spent so much time on the water fishing.
There's some good ones.
It's almost unreasonable that they wouldn't have them. But
there.
thankfully, I haven't had one that's too bad.
What about I know you're trying to find one, but the three it wasn't wood duck moments. They were near death experiences for in the car flips and
that was
crashes.
Ryan Turner.
That was Ryan, was it?
Yeah,
far out. That is
go
wild.
and listen to that from the horse's mouth because I'll butcher it.
You would, that is wild. Not a wood duck.
I have lots of little wood duck moments every time I go out. Learning trial by error. Like I've done the standard ones where you leave the bungs out and back your boat down the trailer and fill. Yeah. Thankfully, I've got a tinny, so it filled with water pretty quick, and I was able to see it. It's no big deal. Drive up the ramp.
That's good.
Yeah, I honestly don't have one that's that bad, mate. I mean, I've got a habit for catching the prop whenever I'm out on the boat with Leca. Get my line tangled in the prop, which can seriously ruin a boat motor.
Yeah.
That's about it. I'm kind of known for that.
Very good.
Last one from Jacob Sholton. Why are you so handsome?
Oh, thanks, Jacob. He's a mate of ours. He's come out in the boat filming with us for the 4-wheel drive show. Don't know, mate. Born with it. Got a head like a chewed minty, mate.
The Rothams. One thing I'll give the Rothams is they're bloody stylish. The Rothams. Not
stylish
in your pocket. They're stylish. The Rothams, 100%. Maybe because their old man is in.
Jacob's a character.
Yeah, he feels for you too, doesn't he?
Yeah. He's a real character.
Jacob was on our trip, mate.
Is that Jacob's last name?
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, that's the Spinifex pigeon.
Doug's like, who's
pigeon,
fogging
mate.
you?
Yeah, he's got no idea.
That's our Jacob.
Yeah, that's Spinifex pigeon, mate.
Oh, the Spinifex pigeon. How are you, the great man? I miss him. He's the best dude.
I can't believe how lost you were just then, mate.
I don't know his last name. He never told me that.
That's because you're not social.
When I met him, he just introduced himself as the Spinifex pigeon.
He was in my phone for years as Jacob Reels.
Jacob Reels.
So one thing I'll say about Jacob is he's the toughest bastard I've ever met. So have you guys ever been seasick?
Yes.
Royally seasick?
Yes.
No.
Shocking feeling.
He gets seasick that easy. I've been out on the boat with him a few times and he continues to film. Like he just he goes to have a vomit over the side and he just gets back to it. Only one time, that was when we were out at the Fads, he had to put his camera down. And it was going off. The mahi would jumping out of the water, taking everything that was flipped through at him, and he just could not hack it. Every time he looked at his camera, he wanted to spew. So I grabbed the camera off him and did some filming.
It makes me feel sick thinking
but
about
he never complains. He's never like, let's go in, like I'm feeling too sick. He just hacks it.
Both him and Ryan on our trip as the two like genuine cameramen were like, I was amazed at how hard they both worked.
Yeah.
When it was 48 degrees and Ronnie's like, go stand on that hill 3 Ks away.
Yeah, they just get after it, eh?
2 Ks away.
Yeah, Jacob just
unsung heroes.
200 metres, but Jacob just walks off through the desert, and then I can't even see Ryan. I don't know where he is because he shoot me with a 600 mil.
I find
and you're just reversing back.
I find with
4 Ks.
Jacob, I do have to tell him like, nah, get in the car.
Yeah, he's hard work.
Because he would just keep going.
Ryan
Yeah, he's very creative.
That's gold. Hey, that's all from us, mate. I feel like we could do this 3 times over and not get the same chat, which is awesome. But appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for the invite, boys. It's an honour.
Yeah.
Truth be told, I actually looked at your podcast for a lot of inspiration when I started Tall Tails. So I appreciate you coming on. It's cool to sit here with Ronnie too, mate. Like we said before, I learned a lot from your YouTube channel. So
well, I learned a lot about fishing today.
Yeah.
We'll have to get out together.
We would love to.
Something.
I think we should
Get some content.
It connects. I think it connects well for our listeners too. Like forward driving and fishing, they do go hand in hand a little bit. It's all about the adventure.
There was one question I forgot to ask. How do you choose between taking photos or fishing?
Oh, that is the bane of my existence, Ronnie. It is the hardest thing ever, especially when the surf's good too. When it comes to surf photography, it's like, do you go surfing or do you take photos? But fishing or photography, you kind of do them both at the same time, but both suffer in their own way. So you're never going to get a great photo if you're trying to fish at the same time. You're never going to fish as well as you could have that day if you're trying to shoot photos as well. So it's a constant battle, and I don't have an answer for you, mate. It's just have the camera there. I've got this really good system now where I've got a clamp on the side of my boat that holds my little Sony camera, so I can get that high level footage stationary. But I definitely want to put more time into taking more photos. But we've got our own little filmer now.
Hey.
Lee Jessman, he's joined the Tall Tails team to do a bit of filming,
Lovely.
and editing for us. So Hopefully I can just focus on the fishing.
Yeah, he must bring a lot of ginger nut biscuits with him if he's on the boat, eh?
Ginger nut biscuits?
Yeah, ginger's good for seasickness.
Oh, yeah. I think, well, he's actually quite the experienced waterman, so I don't think he actually gets seasick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he surfs and he's grown up with his dad.
Being on a boat and then
do you get car sick?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, back seat. If I'm in the back seat,
I'll get car sick, but I don't get seasick.
Yeah, if I'm in the front, I'm fine.
Okay.
But yeah, if I'm in the back seat of a car and I can't see where I'm actually going, I get royally car sick.
Have you been in a Tesla Uber?
Yes.
Back seat?
Yeah.
Fucking horrible.
The Ubers are even worse because they got a gnarly air freshener in there. It's full of chemicals.
Yeah, and they fucking this constant braking driving.
Yeah, I get car sick, but I do get seasick too.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, every now and then. Anyway,
I hate that feeling.
That's it. Thanks for having me on, boys.
Nah, thanks,
Seriously,
Rothy. Appreciate
really
it. Go have a look at the Tall Tails podcast or Rodcast if you haven't yet. It is a quality listen. There's some real humour on that show too, which is very enjoyable. Even if you're not a keen fisherman, go and check that out, mate. Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you very much.
That's the Full Drive podcast powered by Tyrepower. Again, thanks to Toughdog. Thanks to Tyrepower. And, mate, we'll catch up with you for a trip one day.
Let's do it. Cheers, boys.
Cheers, mate.